Welcome, welcome, welcome to another one of our episodes of our heart-powered inspiring interviews series. And as you know, every time we have an amazing, inspiring guest with us, and I'm really feel honored and blessed, and I can't wait to get inspired by our guest today. His name is Frank, and he's really a power networker in so many ways. We got introduced to a friend of ours, had a lovely conversation, and I thought I really need to introduce him to you. So who is Frank? His name is Frank Agin. And Frank Agin, he's the president of AmSpirit Business Connection, which really empowers entrepreneurs, sales representatives, and professionals to become successful through networking. And as you all know, your network is your net worth. And, Frank will bring all of that to a different light today. He also hosts the Networking RX podcast, which has insights and interviews related to better business relationships. And who wouldn't want to build better business relationships? And also, Frank, what do you want to know about him? He's an author of several books, including a book on foundational networking. Frank, it's so great to have you with us today. Welcome.
Well, I appreciate it. This is truly a worldwide thing because we have a mutual friend in India who connected us. And you're in Europe and I'm in the United States. This is truly worldwide. This is great.
Absolutely. And we should mention her name. Her name is Deva Priya Khanna. She connected us. Okay. It's a power of network and it brings us together. Well, Frank, I know that you are a master networker and you've built actually a really powerful platform where you bring entrepreneurs together so they really support each other, recommend each other, network with each other. So, looking at your business right now, what are three of your best practices or three things that help you most to grow your business, to where it is today and to even grow it further and to make a bigger impact? So what are your personal three sequence and best practices in your own business?
Networking is, a lot of people think networking is about sales, right? They come in and, okay, I'm out networking. What did I get? What did I sell? And really networking is about giving. It's about helping other people. And that's my primary one. It's just to find ways to help other people. If you find ways to help other people, it'll come back to you at some point in time, just to get out there and help other people. And that can manifest itself in lots of ways. Other things. I know you kind of gave me these questions and I answered them and then I thought about it. It's like, oh man, there's so many answers to these things. It's not a one size fits all sort of thing.
I know. So just jump into the juiciest parts. Parts that you feel like this is really something at hindsight that made the biggest impact to my business.
Yeah. Well, certainly helping other people. I think, certainly working on myself. And I talk about this a lot in my book, Foundational Networking. It really starts with you. You control you. I can't control what other people do, but I can control whether I'm optimistic or I'm not optimistic. How I feel about myself. Am I feeling grateful or ungrateful? So certainly that's something else. And hard work's important. We talked about that before hit record. Is you need to be committed to working. People need to know that about you. People, and I ran into this. I'm in the United States, so I'm a few hours behind you now. So just a couple hours ago, I ran into where a guy was like, I'm not very good at that. Why doesn't somebody else do it? And it's like, well, wait a minute here. It's easy to say I'm not very good and just pass it off to somebody else, and then they have more work. It's just not a very good look. And I pulled him aside afterwards, and I said, you know what? People want to associate with hard workers. They want to know that they can rely on you, and to pass it off to somebody else really dampens your professional brand. So those are three.
Love it. And why don't we jump into it? And I really love how you touch on, as you called it, like you control you, right? Okay, you have it in your hands on how you feel. So I know a lot of people when it comes to networking, or when it comes to reaching out to potential clients or partners, or to reach out to event organizers. We work a lot with speakers as well, right? They feel like it's hard. Today I'm not in the mood. Today is not the right day, right? I mean, can we bring these two aspects into combination and say, hey, you control you, and what do you do to overcome when you have like a bad hair day, or you have a moment when you think like, oh, I really don't feel in the mood to show up. How do you really use that concept, you control you, to keep networking, to keep showing up, to do what's needed to to build your network and to show up for people?
Yeah, I have those bad days. I think people probably look at you and they look at me and they say, well, they don't have bad days. They never struggle with these things. I won't talk for you, but I'll talk for me. I have days where I'm not feeling it. And it might not even be something that's overt. It might be, I might catch myself doing busy work that I could easily do another time. But I'm going to be doing now, and I need to stop myself. And there's an apprehension out there. I think we're all afraid of being rejected. I think that's human nature. We're all a little bit afraid of being rejected. And so what I try to do is get in my mind, again, it gets back to me controlling me, get into my mind and say, you know what, I'm doing this to help somebody. It's not necessarily for me, but it's for somebody else. I'm going to walk into this situation. My presence is going to help them. My presence might help somebody else. And so I really owe it to other people to go ahead and do this. And if somebody's not interested, it's not necessarily a no to me. It's just a no to the concept of, well, we really don't need your help right now. So it is a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. I caught myself yesterday just kind of having this conversation. I'm doing busy work, you get it, right? And I need to put it aside and do the harder things and reach out to people and ask for things and so that's really how I do it.
Yeah, I love it. And I also love what you said earlier. You say, hey, when you network, when you build relationships, you always come from a place of giving and really helping others. Yeah. Can you give some concrete hints and tips of what do you do to find ways of helping others to really build stronger relationships and connect with people at a deeper level?
Yeah, I think the key is when you're having conversations, and I love Zoom or any of these platforms where you and I have never met. I've never met David Pryor, but I feel like I've gotten to know you and David Pryor as much as I know people here locally where I'm at in the central part of the United States. But when I have conversations with people, what I try to do is I try to get my mind thinking about, okay, what are ways that I can help this person? Who could this person help that I know? And kind of going through that and stop asking myself, okay, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Because if you're asking what's in it for you, it's a very one-dimensional type thing. But when you're asking what's in it for other people, and it might be somebody I know that could help you. It might be something you do that can help somebody else. When I start asking those questions, it brings me, it kind of it gets me into a thought pattern of, okay, how can I help? What I try not to do, and again, I'm not perfect at it. What I try not to do is say, okay, Monique, how can I help you? Because that puts the onus on you. And that kind of puts you on the spot. And you might not be ready for that question. So what I try to do is suggest certain things. Are there podcasts you'd be interested in being on? Can you describe the type of person you might be looking to meet? Because I know everybody wants to meet other people. And then from there, I can kind of, with respect to those answers, I can kind of get my mental Rolodex going and start thinking about people. But I think part of the key is getting them talking.
Yeah, I love it. And, I invite you all, listen to these questions Frank is asking, because it's these questions that help you really find out what does someone need and want, and how can you be of service, right? And that helps you build stronger connections. So, Frank, you used a keyword that I find really powerful. And in one hand, it's like the foundation for every relationship. In another one, it's not really something that's a God-given. And the keyword is be reliable, right? Show up, show people that you are reliable. And I believe that, giving people the, showing people that you are reliable is kind of the glue in your relationship. It keeps it together, and it's a platform for growing it, right? So in what way are you showing people that you are reliable, and how is it helping you to, build relationships and strengthen relationships over time? And maybe you can give, a concrete example of, what have you experienced? In what way did you show up being reliable when it was maybe not so easy, and that had an impact on one of your relationships?
Yeah, it's you're so right. Reliability is everything. What I tell people is, think of mathematics. I know this is, stick with me here, audience, but in mathematics, 0 times any number is 0. 0 times infinity is 0. And that's how I look at reliability. When you're unreliable, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter anything. It amounts to nothing. And you need to be reliable. And when I say reliable, you need to be 100% reliable. I bark at my kids for years, right? You're either 100% reliable or you're unreliable. If you're 10% unreliable, I don't know when that 10% is going to be. So you might as well be totally unreliable. But, as far as being reliable, it's just, it's doing the things you say you're going to do. And sometimes it seems like it doesn't really matter, that I'm here, but I told somebody I was going to be here. In fact, I had this conversation the other day. We were both going to a meeting, and he says, "Oh my gosh, I'm breaking the speed limit to get to this meeting on time. I'm gonna get a speeding ticket for $150 just because I want to be here on time." And what he's basically saying, we continued on the conversation, is it's so important for me to establish that I'm somebody on time, that I'm going to be there on time. Doesn't matter that I slept late or the dog got loose or whatever it might be. It's so important. I'm willing to spend $150 on a speeding ticket to be there on time. And certainly doing the things you say you're going to do. I try to go a little extra. I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and the host gave me a bunch of homework. This is what I want my guests to do. Maybe this is a lesson for us. But she wanted me to promote it on the front end. A lot of us, and I will promote this. When this comes out, I will promote it because I appreciate you so much for having me on. That's just part of the equation. But she wanted it on the front end as well because it was kind of a live program. And she said, "I want you to promote it out 3 times and tag me." And I just told her, I said, "I'm gonna do it 5 times. I'm just gonna go overboard on this thing because I know that's what you want, number one. I'm going to do a little extra. And I know people let you down. And I want to make up for all the people who let you down. And, those things. And again, did I have to do that? I could have just done 3 and checked the box. But it made an impression upon her. And I don't know where that impression goes. But I would rather have that favorable impression than not. So reliability is everything, especially in the networking world. It's all about being known, liked, and trusted. And trust, reliable is all about trust.
Absolutely, and I believe you can have built a great relationship. You show up one time unreliably.
Yeah.
Break everything, right? Trust everything.
Yeah.
So it's really powerful things, really great hints and tips, and going above and beyond. You know what? I mean, who wouldn't want to work with someone like this, right? So I invite all of you here, think about, how can you show up being reliable and, go above and beyond? Okay, again, that will really help you to turn short-term connections into long-term relationships. Great, Frank. So another question is, you and I, we are people of action, right? We love action, okay? And again, if we take action repeatedly, it becomes a habit. It's really what we do, and the habits we implement often turn us into who we are and are the foundation of our success, right? So what is one of your personal, secret success habits that you are doing day in and day out that really make a big difference to you growing your network and to you being the successful entrepreneur that you are?
Wow. You know, one of the questions I'll ask from time to time on my podcast is, what's your favorite book? And when people stumble, I know they read a lot, because if you've read 2 books, it's either one or the other, right? But if you've read 100 books, you have to really think about it. And so, you know, what's my one thing? Wow, there are so many things that I do. I mean,
well, you can also give us 2 or 3, but you know, whatever is coming spontaneously to mind is probably the one.
Yeah, well, you know, I think a big thing is I get up and go walking with my wife every day, and she's a corporate HR compensation person, and we talk about business, and so we talk through things and what we're going to do today, and so it's a great opportunity for me to kind of get grounded in the day, and sometimes it's me giving her advice, and sometimes it's her giving me advice, and so to have people in your life that you can kind of have a sounding board. And for the people who are married out there, I call my wife the tough Russian judge, because she doesn't pull any punches. I mean, she just tells me, like, you know what, you probably need to limit your association with that person. She told me about somebody. Yeah, you're probably right. So I think that's certainly an important thing. Another thing I try to do is I try to get after. I try to serve the people around me. You know, when I get an email, I don't like to sit on it. I don't want to answer in the moment because I have lots going on, but I want to try and get back to people within 24 hours. It gets back to this whole reliability thing. I want to get back to people, and I might not be able to answer the question or respond appropriately, but at least I could say, you know what, I'm busy with something. I'm really tied up. Here's the expectation as to when you can hear from me. And so often I'll send something to somebody and I don't know if they got it or not. I sent you something 2 weeks ago. You haven't got to it. I've been busy. Well, you just could have told me you were busy, and then I would have known that, hey, you had it. And then the last thing I do is, and I have again, worldwide thing. A guy's named Dan Lefebvre. He's in Canada. He's a high performance coach, very gracious with his time. And what he taught me to do, which I thought was really powerful, is every night I sit down and I write out what were the opportunities that came from the day. You know, this conversation with you is on the list, right? It's an opportunity. I don't know where it goes, right? We're just kind of building a relationship, and we're going to be doing other things, but this is an opportunity, and I write that down, and I'll have other things throughout the day, things that I know were, obviously this was planned, but other things will happen that I'll have opportunities from. And the reason he has me write that down is because it helps open my mind to, this was an opportunity. You know, this call that came in out of the blue, that was an opportunity. And then your mind starts looking for those things. And the second thing he has me do, or advises me to do, and I've been doing for a long time now, is just making a checklist, just a quick little checklist. What's my intention for tomorrow? What am I going to get done? And it's not a to-do list, but what are those big things? And back to your original question, how do you keep yourself from putting aside the important things? If I write something on that list, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Unless there's a big emergency or something out of the blue, I will get that done. And again, it's not my checklist of all the things I'm going to do, but these are the big things I'm going to do. And what that helps me do is it keeps me grounded that next day as to what I need to accomplish. But my mind, as I sleep, is working on those things. I don't really have to think. I don't stay up at night thinking about them because I know they're on the list, and I'll see the list in the morning. But as I sleep, it's like my mind's kind of working on, okay, how am I going to approach this email? How am I going to approach this meeting? And so, my list last night, I was going to do a great job on your podcast. Because it's important to you and it's important to me, and it's also an opportunity from today. So those are things that I do.
I love it. And as I said earlier, Frank, again, I love taking action. And also, you said, hey, the suggestion was like every night sit down, think about what opportunity came your way this way. And the second thing is thinking about what's the intention for tomorrow. Well, bridging the two would be powerful too, is asking like, how can I pick up on that opportunity, right? What's the next step is on taking advantage, or turning that golden opportunity that fell into my lap. What can I do to bring it to the next level, right? So I always love to not just inspire people here with our interviews, but to invite them also to take one practical step to really turn the learning into doing right away, right? So every time we have a guest, we ask them, like, what is one concrete action, one concrete step you invite people, or you challenge even people to take today to really, take the golden nuggets from this interview to the next level. And it could be one of the things that you just mentioned, that is your success habits, or it could be something else. What is the one action you invite everyone that's on with us today to take today?
And this is really easy, Monique. It's really easy because I get this question all the time. I want to jumpstart my network. What do I need to do? I've worked in a corporate life forever. I need to get out and network. I tell people, find something you're passionate about, or determine what you're passionate about, and find some place to volunteer. The world needs help. There's all sorts of organizations out there. And so go get yourself involved with something, whatever it might be. I can't, whatever your passion is. If you're not passionate about something, don't volunteer in it. But we're all passionate about something. It might be human trafficking, which is a huge problem in the United States. It might be homelessness. It might be all sorts of different problems, race relations, whatever it is, cancer, volunteer. And the reason I say that is because volunteering does really two things for you. The first thing is that when you get up out of your little corner of the world and go volunteer, you're never doing it alone. You're doing it with other people who care about that same thing, and you're working shoulder to shoulder with them. And you don't even have to tell them what you do. They will find out. They will like you. What's Monique about? I'm going to go on LinkedIn's great. I'm going to look her up. What's she up to? And they'll know everything about you. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is, when you volunteer, you really send a message to the world that you care. As humans, we developed in small tribes of about 150, and we never really knew anybody outside of our tribe. And we were acutely aware of what everyone was doing in the tribe, because you had to contribute to the tribe to keep your place in the tribe. If there was no social services, if you were lazy, they just had to get rid of you. And so that kind of carries over today, and we're always looking out there for people who are contributing to the world. And when somebody sees you contributing, they're just going to know that you're a good person, even if it doesn't benefit them. So that's my challenge to everybody out there. Find something, and believe me, they're out there. There are charities, there are organizations that could just use a little bit of help, and everyone's got talent.
So powerful. And as you said, it's a great networking tool, right? I mean, when you volunteer and you do amazing work with people that are passionate about what you do, it's a great way of connecting with like-minded people. Great, Frank. You and I could keep talking forever, right?
Yep.
But let's round up our interview. And I know a lot of the amazing entrepreneurs, speakers, change makers that are with us today. They would like to get to know you better, maybe connect with you, find out about AmSpirit, or check out your podcast or your books, or where and how can they find you?
The best place to get a hold of me, I have a website out there. It's frankagin.com. If you can jam that in the show notes. But that links to everything. It links to all my books. It links to my podcasts. It connects to me on LinkedIn and Facebook. My email's on there. And everybody likes to communicate their own way. And I'll connect with people however they're comfortable. But that's a great way to kind of learn about all things Frank Agin.
Love it, Frank. Okay, great. Do you want to round it off with a final inspiring message?
Finally, yeah. This is what I tell my kids: your greatest day is yet to come. No matter what you do, always get up and say, you know what, I've got something better in me. And just continually tell yourself, no matter how much you accomplish, I still have something more to do. So your greatest day is yet to come.
I love it, Frank. Thank you so much for being on with us. Okay, our greatest day is yet to come. Okay, for us individually, and also in our relationship. Okay, so all of you, I hope you took away a lot of golden nuggets. And again, as we always suggest, take action, play with us on our challenge for the day. And the challenge is going to really help you to step up, network, build powerful relationships going forward. So all of you have a fabulous time. Keep checking in with us regularly on our HeartPowered Global Nation community as well. And keep an eye out. We'll be releasing one of our HeartPowered inspiring interviews soon again. But hey, just digest what you took away from today and connect with Frank. Don't miss that opportunity to get in touch with this amazing man. Check out what he does with AmSpirit and this networking platform, really powerful platform. And check out his podcast, read some of his books. I mean, we can never learn enough about networking, can we? Frank, thank you for being on with us today. Thank you all for being on with us today. And as we always say, never miss an opportunity to speak up, scale up, impact the world in your own powerful way. So we'll be back soon. Have a fabulous day, week, and we'll be in touch. Cheers.